G'day guys. Okay, so I am doing something completely different. Wasn't sure if I even liked this at the end, but I've come back to it and I actually do like it. So I've decided that I'm going to put it up because you know me, warts and all, good, bad, the ugly, what works, what doesn't, it all goes up because it's just at scrapping. Some things work, some things don't. So I am using a 12 by 12, just a 12 by 12 black sheet today. Now what I'm putting on there at the moment, I'm using my darkroom door stencil. It is the small dot stencil. I believe you can still get that from darkroom door. I don't know where I got mine. It might have been Crazy Craft Obsessions, maybe, I'm not sure. Now what I'm putting through there is just the Ranger Texture Paste Transparent Matte. That's what I'm putting through. I haven't added any color to it because all I want it to be is texture. I don't want it to take over. I will show you right here, right there. There's a mistake. Don't leave your outside border to dry. If you're doing it like I did, just for texture across your writing, don't leave it still connected like I just did, because it dries and guess what? It's no longer cut out. You have to then go and cut it all out. It was a bit painful, but you can see that down the track because I don't cut it out. I think I recorded it all. Now, I do speed up my videos. For anybody that's new here, welcome. And see, I let it go too long. It didn't work, but that's okay. We live and we learn. So with my videos, what I do, if you're new here, is I speed it up. I leave the good, the bad, the ugly in there. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. We all learn together, and I'm not ashamed of it because at the end of the day, that's how we learn as people. Am I right? Now, see this gold thread? I bought this ages. If you've been around for a while, you know that I've tried to use this thread several times. It's horrible. It's okay. The thread itself isn't horrible. What's horrible about it is it separates and you cannot get, it kind of untwines as you're sewing with it. So I decided I was going to use it as much as I possibly could on one layout to get it off my desk. And this is that layout. As you can see, all I'm doing is going backwards and forwards. I've put some tape down each side, double-sided tape, and I'm just sticking it to it. That's all I'm doing. It's in fast forward, which is lucky because it was a little bit painful doing it because the thread wanted to unravel, but that's okay. And I literally got down to here and I went, woohoo! I actually used the whole roll. Is that affordable to do all the time? No, because that stuff was like $7 for the spool. So this turns out to be quite an expensive little page, but was I going to use it anywhere else? Probably not. So I've bought a supply. I've used the supply up. It's not wasted. It's not sitting on a shelf being ignored because it's painful and it doesn't want to cooperate when you're using it. So as far as I'm concerned, I've used the supply and I haven't wasted my money. So I've gone around the edges. Now, what I've gone around the edges with is, and I haven't written it down, it is the gold, let me think of what it's called. It's from Paper Rose Studios and it's gold. I can't remember it off the top of my head. I promise I'll put it in the description below because I can't remember it and I'm not going to say the wrong thing because it's probably a completely different product. Okay, so it's at this point that I'm about to realize that, hang on a minute, all your dots have now dried and doesn't matter. It's going to be okay. I figure it out. It's all good. Now, these are the ALDI watercolor pencils that I purchased last week, and I've had several people saying to me, how are you going to use them? One of the ideas that I decided was I wanted to get my title Normally I would use my distress oxides or my distress inks or paint or whatever to get a two-toned effect. I decided that I was going to use my pencils today just to have another play with them. These things are pretty pigmented for ALDI $9.99. Like that's, to me, it's pretty good. I'm going to use them on something different. I've come up with a different idea while I was doing this, actually, and I sort of wanted to jump over to the next idea because I thought it would be better than this one. But so what I've done is I've gone across with the texture paste. It dries matte, it dries transparent. So basically these letters, the watercolored pencil, once I activate it, it's going to run around those bits. Now I don't add too much water. There's my little squirty bottle of boiled water that I keep on my desk. And all I'm doing is very, very, like, not squeezing water out at all. And you can see it's just brightening right up. It's mixing together and it is so pretty. In the close-up photos over on Facebook, you can see it close up. What I liked about it, now I tried to think about something that I would be able to, something I like and something I dislike from the product. Now, the thing I like about it is it's not that opaque that you lose the texture, because I used American Crafts textured white cardstock, okay? I really love that particular cardstock. It cuts beautifully in my Cricut. I get my letters, they all pop out perfectly. I absolutely love it. And it holds its form. So some of the cardstocks here, watch this. This is where I realize, oh my goodness, look what I've done. So to prevent that happening, if you decide to put texture on, leave it on there, put your texture on, and then peel it off straight away. So when it dries, it's just your letters. So it's totally fine. It works out. It's a bit more fiddly, but I left it in to show you that this is what will happen if you don't take it off while it's still wet. Now, so the good thing that I like about it is when I wet the pencils and they went all watercolor and nice for me, I could actually see the texture in the cardstock through the pencils. I will try and endeavour to capture that in the photos before I put them up on Facebook. If you're new to my channel, in the description below, there is a link to my Facebook, my Instagram, so you can contact me. I also have email there if anyone wants to contact me for some reason. No creepers. Now, come on, be nice. So yeah, it's all there. And one of the things that I really liked about this was the texture, because I'm trying to create texture on texture on texture, but without the bulk. Now this is something I've been working on several times over the last couple of layouts. I've had quite a few people actually ask me how would you go about making it look like there's lots of texture but without all the bulk. I don't want all that bulk in my album. So I love using mixed media, but I don't want the bulk. So I'm trying to create some pages that, could you create this texture in a different way that is more chunky? Absolutely. But that's not what I'm going for on this particular layout, because I'm trying to show you that you can have the texture. If to run your fingers across this, it feels awesome because it's raised up and it's bumpy, but it's not, you know, 1/4 of an inch thick. So that's what I'm working on. Now, all I'm doing is just adding my cut file, my title to my offset. I did a 0.69 offset on my Cricut, in case you're curious. If you're looking at that and you're thinking to yourself, I really like how wide that white bit is, That's what it was. 0.69. That's on Cricut. I have no idea on a silhouette or a Brother Scanning Cut. All of those are foreign to me. So yeah, sorry, I need a drink. It is so hot here today. Wow. I kid you not when I say to you, sorry about that. I kid you not, it is 35 degrees. This afternoon, a little bit of a breeze has sprung up, which is fantastic. But yes, I'm in air conditioning, have been all day. And other than the couple of times I've had to duck in and out for training and all the rest of it, other than that, I've stayed in aircon because my body doesn't cope with the heat at all. So all the immune suppressed people out there will understand what I'm saying. Now, I'm going around this. I left this in just to show you. I went around it with a fine, it's a point, I think it's a 0.9. Let me see if I can grab it really quickly. So I grabbed the two. Okay, here we go. It's the gel impact one, and it doesn't have a number on it. Yes, it does. There it is. 0.7. So I used the 0.7 millimeter one. I sat it to the side. I don't like it. I don't like the black around it. So this is something that I do. So I'm continuing on with the process. What I wanted to do is think about something different for a minute, just to not focus on the dodgy bit sitting next to me. I'll think of a solution for that in a minute. Now, you can see in the background the texture paste has actually, you can see it's there, but it's not in your face. So there's texture, but it's not in your face. Now, the threads, see how I've got them going over and under the photos? That's what I wanted to do. You know, like the old, I don't want to say old days because that makes me sound really old, but years gone by, how about I word it like that? That sounds better, doesn't it? Years gone by, we used to have notice boards in your office or in your, mine used to be at Blockbuster Video. We used to have a pin board, and there were some threads across it, and that's kind of where I was going with this. I thought I'll use those up, and then I'll do the gold border, and I've got the arrows running around clockwise, so around the layout, because what I'm scrapbooking about is a family holiday that we took down to West Wyalong. Now, West Wyalong is where my husband's mum is from, and that's where the rest of her family is, and it's absolutely beautiful down there. It's country, it is beautiful. And we went down this particular year, I think this was about 2009, 2010. Actually, it was probably 2010. And we went down to see my husband's grandmother, my children's great-grandmother. And it was a fantastic time. And if the person from, I'm trying to think of it now. Oh, I can't remember. I've lost what I was going to say. Do you do that? On really hot days, do you lose track of train of thought of what you're trying to say? I'm looking at the golden guitar right now, Tamworth. I nearly said Tamrookum. Tamrookum is a town that is a little country town down where I used to live, down near Beaudesert, Rathdowney, out that way, Tamrookum. Anyway, I had that stuck in my head. I knew it wasn't Tamrookum. I knew it was, yes. Anyway, I squirrel a lot. I apologise. Now, okay, so what I decided to do was, because the photos are slightly elevated, I've glued them down flat, but they are slightly raised up. So I've just put a little bit of foam tape behind just the title. Now, it doesn't add, it's 2 millimeters, that's it. So it doesn't add a lot of bulk to the page, and I was really happy with that. So the threads going across, I'm trying to sort of create that whimsy sort of look. Now, I wasn't happy with the corners. I'm still thinking about how I can fix the title. I put the title down, but I'm still not happy with it. So I move on and I focus on the corners because I wanted to make it more notice boardy. So, notice boardy. I don't even know if that's a word. Is that a word? Boardies. I know we wear boardies when we swim, and I know all the surfers wear boardies because, you know, we don't wear budgie smugglers at the beach. Okay, here I go. Now I'm on a winner. So I'm going over the black pen with my gold metallic fine Posca pen, and it's perfect. That's exactly what it needed. Instead of going black, trying to do the black on black, it needed gold, believe it or not, gold, 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 and more gold. Then I thought to myself, you know what? I might just colour in just a couple of these dots, like just a couple. It's more than a couple, but go through and sort of bring those dots forward a little bit. Not all of them, just a little bit. If I did all of them, it'd be way too busy and it would be crazy. So all I'm doing is just putting the paint literally on the very top, and it was really easy to do actually. So I did that, and it was all working. It was all cruising. I was getting with it. So I'm so excited. I'm going to be opening my advent calendar online. Now, I ordered an advent calendar. This is my journaling, by the way. I don't always do my journaling on here before I put my pages up, but today I thought it really needed it because I felt like I needed to embellish this page a little bit because Darren's grandmother was very into her gardens and very into her flowers, and her gardens were absolutely beautiful. This lady, I might tell you, this beautiful woman lived a very rich, very full life, and she lived independently. I'm going to say, I want to say 93, maybe 94 years. She was not moving out of that house for nobody. And she was fiercely independent. She was unbelievable. Beautiful lady. I'm so glad she came to our wedding. I'm so glad that I had the opportunity to meet her. She was beautiful. And unfortunately, she ended up with dementia. So, right at the very end. But up until that point, she was an absolute darling. And even at that point, I refused to believe that she was anything else. Now, I found these paper flowers were in a snap lock bag. I've got all these bits. Now, I say this all the time. I don't like to over embellish. I like to keep things minimal on a page. I'm not one of these people that will just whack a stack of stuff on a page just to get it on there to use it up. So I've had these in my collection for so long. They were from the reject shop. They were just a packet of flowers, basically, paper flowers, and you can sort of stack them up on each other or whatever, but they're a bit big for me. And I'll be honest with you, after I did this page, I threw the rest in the bin because I can tell you now they were way too big. I'll never use them. And they're just taking up valuable real estate in my craft room. So I pulled out the pencils again, and all I'm doing is I wanted these flowers to blend better with the title. They were still pink, they were still in the color zone, but I wanted to sort of make them, give them a bit of highlight and low light. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going through just with my pencils, and these, again, they're the ALDI ones. I didn't pull out my Faber-Castells or anything like that. And I'm just adding a little bit more depth of color to these flowers because after I do this, they look really awesome. I absolutely loved how they turned out. And I'm really glad I pulled them out now because they go on this perfectly and Grandma would absolutely love them. So, yes. Now, I'm just pulling out my water brush. Now, this water brush is, I think this one was from Kmart. Oh, I can't say I'm a fan. Can't say I am. Because I am not on at all. I'm not squeezing it whatsoever, but the water is just pretty much flowing from it. And I didn't want to overly hydrate these flowers. Like, I wanted them to just barely get it, because these pencils are pigmented enough that I don't even need to see. I even had to get a tissue because it was just too wet. It was crazy. So I think that pen's going to go in the bin. I do have others here, and I will endeavour to use those. So then what I do after I get in here with my pencil and all the rest of it, I add some KAISERCRAFT clear dewdrops to the centre, and I glue those down just with my art glitter glue. So we are just about done on this page. Let me know if you like it. Let me know if you hate it. Would you do something similar to this to possibly use up some of your collection and stop storing it? So that's my theory. Don't store it, scrap it. So here's the close-ups, guys. If you're new to my channel, I would love to have you as a subscriber. I'm trying to reach 1,000 subscribers by Christmas time. So I don't know if I'm going to get there, but it would be amazing if I did. So the other thing is, all my links below, go over to my Facebook group. That's where you'll see lots and lots of close-ups, and I zoom right in so you can see all the texture, all the mistakes, all the good and juicy bits as well. So thank you so much for watching. I really sincerely appreciate each and every one of you. Thanks again. I will be back tomorrow with another video. Thanks for that, guys. Chat soon. Bye.